Why is everybody making progress, yet we seem to be lagging so far behind? Why are we mistreated? Why are we in this condition, stripped of our name, our language, our culture, our God, and our religion? Here in America, all of our religious training has been gotten by the preacher. He has told us of a heaven way up in the sky that we can't enjoy now, but rather after we die. But all of the years that we're living, for us there's nothing but hell, pain, torture, and misgiving. Yet the Bible speaks of a heaven filled with material luxury, which the white man and the preacher has right here, so we see. So my friend, take it for what it's worth. Your heaven and your hell is right here on this earth. So let's check back into history, which rewards all research and tells us plainly that before the white man gained entry to the East, he was living in the caves of Europe, a ravenous beast, eating juniper roots and eating flesh raw, till God sent Moses to civilize him and teach him the law. Then following Marco Polo, an explorer, he gained entry into Asia and Africa. From China, he took silk and gunpowder. From India, he took jute, manganese, and rubber. He raped Africa of her diamonds and her gold. From the Mideast.
Welcome back, family. It's always an honor and a pleasure to have you here with me early in my day. And I hope everyone is in good health. I hope everyone is in a good frame of mind. I hope everyone is in a place where emotionally they are strong and uplifted. And we can also find ourselves in a place where we're not. We're not machines. It's okay if we're not. It's not okay to stay there. And if for some reason you're trying to rise up and motivate to incrementally every day be a better version of yourself, and you have someone who is there directly or indirectly trying to bring you down, then you need to get rid of that person or that group or that place that you're in that's keeping you down. Everything is energy. Don't be fooled. Everything is energy. We in America, and I don't know where else, not that I really celebrate it. I did it a couple times as a child, but my parents always hit me to what was behind it, and I wanted to run with the other kids. This thing called Halloween. And if you don't know what Halloween is, if you might be out of America, and I don't really know where else it's celebrated, because living in West Africa and living in Ghana now, there are a lot of holidays that go by that I don't even miss because they don't celebrate it here. But Halloween is, to be real, a demonic holiday where those who are into the occult do things that occult people do, the rituals, the spell casting. And you have others who practice the original African spirituality, which is not the occult and has nothing to do with Halloween. They're good. But in Halloween, the children get costumes. Sometimes it's a superhero or heroine. Oftentimes it could be something scary. And they go around and they ring the doorbells of different people. And they'll basically say, trick or treat. So if you don't give them candy, they are going to do a trick on you. There's nothing violent, shouldn't be. And they don't really do the trick. like throwing an egg at your window or doing, no, but that's the standard. Well, why am I saying all of this? Well, it's a tradition that's not African, but many American African children follow through because it's something that's always done. And it's a tradition and it's a money making scheme because of the costumes sold and the sale of candy. And there's always a holiday around the corner in America that they heavily publicize for you to go out and spend money. But Halloween, you wear a mask and you believe that you are that person when you're a child. If you're Spider-Man, it feels good to be Spider-Man with a Spider-Man costume. If you're the Incredible Hulk, it feels good, especially if you're an undersized child who gets bullied around. Now you're the Hulk. You see where I'm going with this? But it's only one day. But then in real life, there's so many of us that are in the Halloween mindset. And what do I mean? It doesn't mean you walk around in a costume of a superhero, but we have altered ourselves. We've changed ourselves. And it's not because we want to. And first of all, let me just say to my sisters out here, younger and even more mature, not that it means if you're young, you couldn't be mature, but that's a nice way of saying if you're older. But it's the energy, like I said, of the person that counts more so than the chronological age. But it's well documented. And this is a very, very sensitive conversation. And I'm going to go there. I'm not going to sit up and say that in a condemning way, that the things that our sisters do, and let me add in there, we're speaking about our sisters today, men do things to alter themselves too. Men use bleaching cream. Men chemically alter the texture of their hair. Men get nose jobs, plastic surgery, Botox. Men, and I would say as a guesstimate, and maybe I'm wrong, but men, I don't think as many men do this as women do. Maybe I'm wrong. But the push, I'll say, on all women of all races, and this is about my sisters, but I want to step out and say this. The push is to make a woman feel as though she's not good enough. So now when she looks in the mirror, no matter what the size, we're not getting it on the topic yet. This is an overall thing. I'm like a hawk way up in the sky looking for prey. And when I see something that I'm going to attack, I get lower and lower and circle and swoop down on what it is I'm going to get. So that's how I start my conversations. So right now we're speaking about the so-called beauty industry, the one that is supposed to make you, and I'm not saying supposed to like I condone it, but that is their job. They are supposed to make you feel inadequate. They're supposed to make you feel that your natural out-the-box beauty is not good enough, that it's a certain standard that you have to live up to. This is not me saying it. This is a psychological conditioning to say that you are to live up to this, that if you don't look like that woman on the front of a beauty magazine or a fashion magazine or a television show where they show these women who may have filters, just like on Instagram, right? Filters and photoshopped on the magazine and the lighting just right. And then you have an artist, a graphic designer or an artist highlight the pictures and bring out certain things and shrink certain things and maybe take 2 or 3 millimeters off of the waistline so it looks a little larger than life. That's the job of the beauty industry, to make you feel as though you are less. And that's the whole beauty industry. My fight is not the others, but my fight is with my sisters. But that holds true for everyone. Your lips, if you don't think they're full enough or you think they're too full, if you don't think they're full enough, you have to go over where the lip ends and put a little line to make your lips look fuller. If you feel that your lips are a little too full, you put the line on the inside of the lip line to make them smaller. If we feel that our eyes are not good enough, we will take the pencil and aim it up. Almost an example, I wouldn't say Spider-Man, but you know how Spider-Man has it. We know the line. Oh, she has chinky eyes. See, a lot of us don't want to be who we are. And I'm still on the all races thing right now. A lot of us, men and women, we are sold the idea from the so-called wicked beauty industry, fashion industry, that we're not good enough as we are. And sometimes, and oftentimes, when we see someone who is just a stunning beauty out the box, they will get a lot of chastisement and ridicule because of the envy of them having a natural beauty that oftentimes doesn't coincide with what they're pushing out there to brainwash you to buy their products. So this is where we are in the world. And it's getting worse, and I predict that it will get even more worse. Why? Because we have social media now. And we can alter our own photos. We can do it on several social media platforms, but let's just go on and pick on Instagram. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody who is on Instagram is a person of low self-esteem that thinks that they, don't measure up. No. But it's tempting that if you had a little bit too much chocolate cake on the weekend and you took a few photos, but you have a pimple in a prominent area. And why is that? Why is it that the minute you have a wedding to go to, the minute you have some function to go to where there are going to be photos taken, that morning, say it's a Saturday that you're going, Saturday evening, that morning, here comes a pimple right in the middle of the face and right in the corner of the nose, so you can't even pop it and get away with it. You're like, I can't pop this thing. This is going to leave a mark. So I would believe that many women will put on a little makeup there to stop and have a different look. But see, with Instagram, we can take a plain photo of our face and we can choose a filter to alter the lighting on it and to alter the way it looks. Isn't that something? So now, oftentimes, if you don't have the makeup for the ladies, or you're a little bloated for the ladies and the men, and you want to appear to be a certain way, there's something that you can do to yourself afterward, to the point that when you go and meet somebody off of social media and they're going off of your pictures, they might walk past you. Say, man, I wonder if that was her. That sure don't look like her. Now we have, and I'm setting it up now, artificial intelligence. And we have the ability to take a photo of us, of our face, and type it in, or sometimes ask the photo to say, hey, for the ladies, make me an African queen. Slim my face down a little bit. And all of a sudden, in a few seconds or a few moments, bingo, here's this perfect picture. It kind of looks like you, but really it doesn't all the way, but it's close to you. So why are we going after these false narratives of who we are and what we look like. And from what I've seen with artificial intelligence, it's a thing where the skin is lightened a little bit, even when you don't ask for it. The African features, the wider, beautiful nose is shrunken down a little bit more. The lips are brought in a little bit more. The eyes are enhanced in a way where they may be slightly chinky, because many of our sisters love chinky eyes, because it denotes that maybe that there's a lineage from another race. Sensitive talk, I'm not condemning. I love my sisters, and you're going to see the love come out as we go on with this. But we need to face reality. We need to face reality and shake all this mess off. And that's why I asked in the title, who altered our beauty standards? And you look on the banner and you see women who are not bony, are not skinny, right? Why do we overlook these sisters? Because of this altered beauty standard. Beautiful women in front of you, but they would call them plus size women, BBWs, which stands for big, beautiful woman. Well, do they say for the Caucasian white woman, do they say beautiful, emaciated woman? For those women who have no shape, have no backside, have nothing going on for them to make them even look like a female? I'm not saying all of them are built like that, but they're not built like our sisters. And these sisters, I can remember, I don't know any one of them, but when you see a sister that looks like this, there's a knowing when you're a brother. They may have different personalities and their own way of doing things and expressing themselves, but when I see any one of these sisters, it doesn't look strange to me. I have dated women in every range as far as the actual poundage is concerned. When you weigh yourself on the scale, I've never had a problem. Never had a problem in this regard in what you see. And I don't have a problem. To me, it's the energy, like I started out this show to say. It's all about the energy. So I know these sisters in my heart. And I've gotten to know them. And a lot of them have had many hangups because of this twisted, altered standard of beauty. Well, who's responsible for this? I'm going to read a little bit off of an article. And as always, I'll put it in the chat room after a while. And I'll put it on Lancescurv.com on the particular page on Lancescurv that will be for this video. And feel free when you go to the comment, because we're going to continue our dialogue there. Okay, this is from Germ magazine. Germ. And I don't know who the author is because it didn't have a name, but I thought it was interesting on an overall level. Let me just turn myself around this way so I can face the computer, so I don't have to turn my head and the sound can go right on in. The title of the article is, let me grab my mouse. I got two mics here. I'm always grabbing the wrong one. The title of it is Eurocentric Beauty Standards, a Global Disease. So you already know where it's coming from by that title, a global disease. And yes, they will be upset by that title. But we're not here to make someone feel good in their sickness, right? We're here to tell truth and to restore that sense of esteem and value to our sisters. That's my job. As the U.S. has grown to be one of the most powerful countries, our society's standards of beauty have been thrust into other parts of the world through globalization. What I mean is that Eurocentric beauty standards, or a focus on European or Caucasian culture, has been elevated around the world as ideal. Granted, the US is not the only culprit in this. It is very much a Western problem in general. After all, the term is Eurocentric. However, due to events like the widespread colonization of the 1800s, the European societal norms have lingered in other societies and have taken away from different cultures' own values of beauty. When you walk down the streets of Milan, London, Paris, or New York City, you see billboards featuring the typical tall, slender Caucasian model. Who knew that this would spread into cities such as Tokyo, Beirut? From India to China, Caucasian or Caucasian featured models are beginning to dominate the modeling industry for the high-end brands. In China, in other parts of Asia, women use skin whitening cream, and I'm going to add that it's not just black women now. Women use skin whitening cream and walk around with umbrellas on sunny days to keep themselves as close to white as possible. Also, in many East Asian countries, the surgery to give women double eyelids has become a popular practice, taking away from their own natural cultural beauty to make them meet the standards of white beauty. In Lebanon, 1 in 3 women will endeavor in some kind of plastic surgery. In India, light-skinned women are considered more attractive than dark-skinned women. Japan even invented a tool to thin one's nose without the hassle of surgery. This doesn't even take into account women of color in the US. The Black is Beautiful campaign was started not only to fight racism, but also to fight the constant suppression of their unique cultural features. Colored women feel pressured by, that's not my term, colored, right? I'm reading it off. Colored women feel pressured by societal standards to receive hair straightening treatments, hiding their naturally textured hair. The society pages rounded up a selection of beauty ads that show how Black women are expected to look identical to white women. In advertising across the board, Black women's skin is lightened. Celebrities such as Beyonce and Rihanna are frequently accused of using skin whiteners. A fine example of this is the Clark doll experiment, which was conducted in 1939 by a Black couple. 2 identical dolls, the only difference being that one was Black and one was white, were put in front of children of all races. The children had one task: to decide which one was more beautiful. In almost all of the instances, the white doll won. In almost all of the instances, I have to say it again, the white doll won. This experiment was repeated in 2009 and warranted the same results. Whitewashing in the media has gone on for too long. There are so many beautiful aspects of all cultures that need to be appreciated. On a personal anecdote, I am indeed Caucasian. Now, this is the person who wrote the article, but I am from southern Italy, so I have very tan skin and extremely curly hair. Because of this, I don't meet the typical Eurocentric beauty standards. And even I, someone who is white, feel that I am constantly put second in the beauty competition to those who are blonde and blue-eyed. So I can only imagine what a true woman of color feels like. It is truly ignorant for people to not realize exactly how large this problem is within our society. Native American, Asian, Latin, African, Middle Eastern, all these cultures are so beautiful in their own unique way. And just to ignore them in favor of typical beauty is racism. Our society needs to realize that supporting Eurocentric beauty standards is just another insidious form of racism that has continued to dominate our mindset. End of article. It was surprising for me to read this article and find out that this was a white woman who wrote it. But she's aware of what goes on, and even the things within the Black African community worldwide. Because of social media, because of television, because of the internet, they know us better than we do. They just don't say anything. And they use that to manipulate us against each other and into their favor, because they know how to play us against each other, because they know of our idiosyncrasies and our hangups. And that's where I'm getting at with this. Again, the title of this segment is Who Altered Our Beauty Standards? And so now let's zero in. Like I said before, I'm like a hawk way up in the sky, but I'm looking for something to eat. I'm looking for something to strike. And that's the topic of today's show. What they would call BBWs, big, beautiful women, what they would call plus size women. And why is it that many of our plus size sisters, which I don't like calling it that, and I'll tell you why in a little bit, but I will say this: when it comes to the essence and the beauty of the Black woman, she can be as skinny as a rail or sizable, let's just say it that way. Now, if you happen to be morbidly obese, that's indicative of an issue, because unless it's a hormonal problem or something that you can't help by yourself, then we need to take care of that, because we want to remain healthy. So if you are a person who may be morbidly obese, you are deserving of love also. And I feel that a man, if he's into you, he's going to want to help you with the issue that you have that got you to that point. And I'm only speaking now to cover my bases with the morbidly obese women, which there is none on this cover or banner. If you happen to not be that, and a health condition brings you to that point, the man should never leave you, because if he was with you for you, I don't care if you become 500 or 600 pounds, he should love you down just as intense, because of the commitment that he has to you. Too many times I see many of our brothers, they put something on our sisters and stating, well, you good at this size, but you better not put on 10 more pounds. So if you feel this way, then it's not about the internal attributes that she has. If anything, you want to keep her where she's healthy. But who and what was put in your head for you to say that? Who are you comparing her to? Who altered our beauty standards? Because all of these women who are on this banner are drop dead gorgeous. And if they were a little heavier, they would still be drop dead gorgeous. But I find a lot of brothers out here, Black men, some who may be into women who are not twiggy or straight skinny. Now, what I want to say about that is that even then, is it where you're into that particular woman, or you have fetishized BBWs? You fetishized, which that's just as bad. And any of you who may be in what they call the plus size category or a BBW, you've got to wonder why that man is with you just as much as you wonder why a man may reject you because of the size of your hips and the size of your beautiful thighs. So it works both ways. So if you see a man who only dates women who are in the category of what I'm speaking about, You got to question it. Now, we all have a right to have our preference. That's in there also. So maybe he prefers that and he's into you. That's fine. That's beautiful. Okay. But my focus is, why is it that many of our brothers, right? We're going to come back around to the sisters. Why is it that many of our brothers reject a woman who they would call plus size? But really and truly, if you look at the examples of what I put up, are they really plus size? I could have put photos, the full range, but I didn't have enough room on this banner. But you get the picture. Look at the one on the far right. What is wrong with her? Nothing. And she may not be in that category where they would say plus size, because I don't think there are too many men who would reject her advances who are available. Look at the next one. In the greenish metallic looking skirt. She's beautiful. Look at her face. Look at her hourglass shape. Yes, she may have a slight bulge in the middle, but a week or two of exercise and correcting the meal could take care of that. But I ask you, why? Why? What is wrong with her? Look at the one in the middle with the orange two-piece bathing suit. Look at the shape on her. Look at the beautiful thighs on her. Look at the beautiful face. What is wrong with her? I mean, these women, if we can assume that their personalities and everything else, because in the world, in the real world, we have cray-cray. Anybody can be cray-cray, right? Anybody can be crazy. And I don't mean crazy, but they may have, I'm not saying these women, but anybody can have personality traits that need altering and correcting to prepare yourself to be ready for a relationship. So I'm not saying that all of these, we're looking at the image right now. We have the one over my shoulder that has her arms up, nice wide hips, waist, pretty face, all of that. And the one over over on the other side, whose hips were really coming out there, and she looked damn good. Why should they starve themselves? For what? Why should they bring themselves into a place of being unhealthy? For what? Because of this European so-called standard of beauty, which has many of our sisters feeling inadequate, and because of the treatment that many, not all, of our brothers give to them by going for someone who may not have the hip girth and maybe the poundage on the scale, which, if you look at it, because of the altered beauty standards, we as black men have been turned out. Many of us as black men have preferred the thing that was closest to the so-called white beauty standard. And I'm going to get some people mad. But let me just say that with us as black people, African people, we come in all shades, all colors, all tones. So if you happen to be a black man with a black woman who is of a lighter complexion, it doesn't mean always that you're just trying to get a white replacement. I just had to throw that out there, because a lot of our brothers and sisters will see a brother with someone like that and throw that out there. Now, if you're a brother where you always dating or dealing with somebody who is just so pale now, and you not appreciating the whole range of color, I got to give you the side eye. I got to give you the side eye. But there's nothing more beautiful than a woman who exhibits the attributes of an African black woman. You can be slender, you didn't make yourself, and you can be full size, which I prefer to say full size. Now, no disrespect to Mrs. Scurv, but I'm going to tell you as a man how I see it. I'm out here in the motherland, and what they would call full-size women are more appreciated than anything else. And it's not in a lewd way to exploit. But if you know what I know, and you've seen the videos of me walking down the street, beautiful derrieres are not something that's deficient in the motherland. The thighs, the hips, the derrieres, the beautiful face, and healthy. Ain't nobody trying to come down to be some emaciated Caucasian dried out, I ain't never get no son woman. That is not looked at here. And for those who get that treatment, right? For those Caucasian women who come to the motherland and get treatment as though they're above and beyond the sisters that are here, it's only because of the colonized mind of the African man who is here, who has fallen victim to that. And it's advertised here. Big billboards. You go down in Medina, you go down in East Legon, you go down near where the president has his premises here, like the White House, right? Big billboards. Life can be better. And you see a woman's face split down the middle. One side is darker, one side is lighter, and in the middle you have the skin lightening cream. And they say life can be better. What are you insinuating in the advertising? Of course, little girls who see this are going to be brainwashed. Of course, little girls who see the European-looking black woman and the European woman, and they happen to be of a darker complexion, a beautiful darker complexion, because that's what I like, right? I've dated women, black women who are of a lighter complexion, but they were definitely black. Their essence was that. So it doesn't mean within the black race also, we have those who feel that you're not black enough as a woman or a man if you are of a lighter complexion. I used to get that. Depending on what time of the year you caught me. If it was the summer, I was all right because I was getting a lot of sun. But if it was the winter time and the effects of the sun came away from my skin and I looked a little lighter, then the comments would come. And what I didn't like in that time period of my life was that the women who came at me because I was lighter. They didn't say, hey, Lance, how you doing? I'm coming at you because you're lighter. But the brainwashing was there. See, we got things to talk about, and I'm going to spin this topic. We can get 100 shows out of this bad boy when we go in with surgical precision on the topic. We ain't going to just brush over nothing. We're going to focus. We got to clean house. Somebody got to talk about it. And usually the person who cleans the house when the house was dirty and neglected by the owner. There might be a business person and traveling a lot. They might be just plain nasty. But that person who cleans the house, at the end of the day, he is dirty because he got the house clean. So people are going to say things to me and make little dumb comments because I done touched the nerve. But like I say, old Scurv always likes to go in with surgical precision. That's right, I'll kill me, man. Nothing like a beautiful, black, voluptuous goddess. Looking at those pics makes me want to pack and go to Africa now. And if you see what I see, brother, and again, no disrespect to Mrs. Scurv, but I'm going to report it what I see. You got women here who may be brainwashed, okay? We're not talking about those. But those who are naturally themselves, they're not even trying. And you see the way they walk. You see the hips. The natural thing is not put on where, oh, I'm going to try to catch a man now and put a little wiggle in my ass. The beauty of it, and we're not even talking on a lust level. So many of our women have stripped themselves of their true essence to fit in a box that they weren't ever meant to be in. So it's not just the physicality of what you see in front of you. It's the warmth. Again, assuming that they're mentally balanced and emotionally stable, right? Because you can see a beautiful woman like these that they can be crazy too. All right, that's common sense, just like with the men. But we're talking about our sisters right now. The warmth, the way they commit when you love them properly, when you love them completely. when you give them the treatment in and out of the bedroom that they deserve, and you give them the respect, and you don't try to exploit, or it's not a fad, I want to try one of those out, that hurts. The comments that many of us say, I'm very sensitive to that. You finish engaging intimately with a woman who is full size, and you turn around and say, oh, this is better than what I thought. I always wanted to try one of you out. Men can be so cruel and wonder why some women don't want to be bothered with them anymore. You see these examples in front? I can pull up a million more pictures and even some that are even heavier. And this is not to knock our slender sisters, because they got the same essence from the inside. So it's not just about the physicality. I'm just talking about who altered our beauty standards, and that could be a title of a series. But we're talking about full women and how they're rejected because of the unholy, demonic, so-called Eurocentric beauty standards. They're like a coloring book that ain't got no color. Ain't got no pages to them either. Nothing to it. And we have our sisters now bleaching their skin and straightening their hair. Leave it nappy, baby. Nappy is the best. Nappy is beautiful. I'm not afraid to say nappy. I'm not saying it in a derogatory way. You want that hair and those antennas to stand straight up. Yes, it's going to fall to the side once it gets length. Let it lock up. Whatever design and style you want, and whatever way you have come in the journey of self-healing and gotten away from the chemicals that are not going to do your brain and your body any good. I can't exactly recall where I heard this, but it's reputable. And it was said that women who use chemicals on their head, when they pass on, up under the scalp is so green and so rotten. And remember, you're putting this stuff on your skin, so your liver and your kidneys and all of your internal organs have to deal with this. So it's not just something that's surface. You're affecting yourself. And so if you have a family history where there's a propensity to possibly have cancer, a genetic thing, it could be dietary, and you do this, you're pushing the envelope. You see? So we have to be careful. We have to be careful what we do and the reasons why we do it. And we have to sit down honestly and have a conversation with ourselves, sister. But you have to know that you are loved and you are appreciated, and you don't have to change yourself for anyone. And anyone who can't accept you as you are, they don't even need to enjoy a minute of your day. And it doesn't mean every man is going to go crazy over you. There are other things when you deal with a woman. And if this man didn't want to deal with you, don't always think, well, maybe it's because I'm a full-size woman. Because I know some full-size women that they got to run home every day and close that door and put the locks on it. The men are just after them. And it's not just because of a fetish. It's not just because of sex. I've known some plus-size women who are so warm, so inviting, so sensuous, so sexy. Sexy doesn't mean just showing your body parts. You can be fully clothed, carrying yourself in a very decent, ladylike way, and the vibe coming off of you is so sexy. And you can't blame her for not, or for acting in a way, or whorish way, or a way that's not ladylike. But it's that thing where you say, I don't know what it is. There's just something about you. But a lot of us men hold back because we are scared of being judged by our peers. I didn't know you mess with big girls. Like, that's the only thing that about a full-size woman, that they come out the big girl box. Oh yeah, you mess with them big blocks. Yeah, man. Make fun of the dude. When this woman is treating a man like a king. This woman walking around the house You know, the doors are closed, the windows are closed, and you're just laying in the bed and she's just walking around, a little t-shirt on, a little stuff. And you're like, damn, she's beautiful. She looks good. She sounds good. She feels good. Oh, and she tastes good. And yes, I meant it that way too. But again, this is all of our sisters. We just happen to be focusing on those that they say are full size. It's sick how this so-called Eurocentric, European, so-called standard, substandard of beauty when it comes to us. Because look at them. And I've said this from many, 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 many years ago on my earlier videos, many, many, many years ago. And I've said it in writings 2 decades ago plus. And I'm not saying I was the first to say it, but I'm always going to be bold enough to say it. You see, maybe you were considered of what they would say average weight, but there's no average black woman when she's full force in who she is. You only reduce your life force when you try to run after being something else. But real men know a real woman when they see one. And there's nothing more sexier than when you see a full woman who is confident in who she is. It makes you have to restructure what you're seeing, because there's so many who fall victim to the European substandard of beauty that they feel down in themselves because everybody else, and I'm not saying everybody, but so many of us as women, and I said us, I ain't a woman. Last time I checked, I looked in just a little while ago. I'm a man. Yes, a voluptuous queen is so soft, sweet, and kind when you run into the right one. I know this is Al Kibulin, man, saying this. Let me just put this up on the screen for everybody to see. A voluptuous queen is so soft, sweet, and kind when you run into the right one. I know a lady who is 70 years young and looks 35, no stomach, dresses excellently, and has a personality to go with it. Let me tell you something. That's another topic we have to talk about. This old thing where, oh, she's 70 and she too old. If you vibe right, whatever the age, the black woman never loses her essence, never loses her allure when it's authentic. Never. I'm not saying if you're 30 years old, you're running after somebody over 100 years old. I understand that. But the range needs to expand a little more than what it is. Soon as brothers hear 40, oh, she's 40, man, she getting on. What? She ain't even start yet. There are women who I know here online that you may know. There are women who I know online who you might know or might not know. But boy, if you knew their chronological age, you would be shocked, because that's some milk that never spoils. I'm not saying milk as far as the breast and titty. No, I'm just saying, you know how I talk. It never spoils. But yet so many of us destroy the essence, not knowing how to handle it, not knowing how to cultivate it. And many of our brothers are missing out. They're missing out on a good woman, a good, beautiful, warm, sexy woman. And again, all of our sisters have this essence. We're just focusing on this now because many of our full-size sisters are down on themselves. No, hold your head up. You can wear the same dresses. It may be a little larger, but carry yourself with confidence. And if you do feel that you want to lose a few pounds for health reasons, let that be the only reason. You spread out and take the space when you walk, and you sway your arms if you want to. Your natural hips, you don't have to walk like you're ashamed of that. You let them hips swivel. Be yourself. Look every other woman of every other race in the eye and let them know by your confidence and your actions that there's nothing else on the planet like me. Nothing else on the planet like me. And I'm rare. That's why you try to take from me so much. And it hurts me when I see my sisters trying to be something else other than what they are. Because them same chicks, I'm going to say it that way, them same white chicks in school, at the job when you first started working, they would say their little remarks about, oh, her butt being so big. Oh, look at them fat lips. Look at that wide nose. Look how dark they are. And some of us as black men and black women, we're no different. Our young girls coming up, giving them complexes because of how beautiful their black skin is. But you don't let them know that. Hey, darky. Oh, she's a darky. I hope you have luck in finding a husband because you know you a darky. But yet the white men behind closed doors, they trying to get at you. But the white women coming up, they would say things about you. But them same white women will almost hate you. I'm not saying they all will hate you or hate, but there will be an envy. And it was happening from way back because you always had that thing physically, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally that they could never get. They could never get it. That's like a 5-foot Korean man wishing he was in the NBA and could play basketball. He might be the biggest fan. He might have played when he was younger. But brother, man, let's be realistic. You ain't going to the NBA. That's like an 115 pounder. He was 115 pounds from when he turned 21. He will never be the heavyweight champ of the world. Let's face it. You could be a boxer, you'll be real good, but you're not going to be a heavyweight in anything. Physical, at least. You could be a heavyweight on a cerebral level, a mental, emotional, spiritual level. But them white women made fun of you so much. And the ultimate revenge is to see them go to the tanning parlor. What you trying to get a tan for? Who you trying to look like? Well, I'm just trying to look like a white woman with a tan. No. A white woman is a white woman the way she is coming out the box. You trying to alter yourself. But you hating on a sister. And those of you who they call Karens, those disruptive, low energy, jealous, envious entities who are on these jobs, who see a beautiful black woman of any size and want to give you a hard time. And don't have a little weight on you. See, because they don't use as many loops on the belt when they put their belt on. They might have a small waist, but their waistline is usually a little bigger than their backside. And so when they see you voluptuous, oh, the thighs, the calves, you throw in some heels. You don't have to, but you come into a corporate setting and your presence disrupts the whole damn office. The energy that you exude. And these white men know that. These CEOs, these bosses know that. This is why they try to get you to kind of unbutton a button more so when you're a receptionist. They want to sexualize you, fetishize you. That's all of our sisters, but especially those who have them shapes. But nobody wants to talk about this stuff. Nobody. It's uncomfortable. And some of our sisters, sadly, they go in for this. They put themselves out as a plaything. I'm not saying all of our sisters, y'all. I have to keep saying this because somebody's going to not hear what I'm saying and think I'm speaking in the spirit of chastisement and talking against. No, I never do that. But when you're cleaning up a house, you're apt to get a little dirty. When you're going places that nobody goes before, to touch those areas where nobody touches and they're afraid to touch it. I see these things from young. I didn't have to read an article to know about this. My parents had conversations in the house that I would hear from young long before there was an internet. As we know it today, there was, but it was a governmental thing. So for me, this is necessary conversation as we run toward the narcissistic, as we run toward the superficial, as we run toward altering ourselves. Be yourself. I see women of all sizes here in the motherland. And I went into Accra yesterday. I left from in the mountains and went into Accra. We had some business to take care of. And I should have brought my smaller camera and just walked like I usually do. We haven't done that in a while because I'm not in the city anymore. We're up in the mountains. But in a couple days, I'll be going down there. It's funny. I have a huge dining room table here. And in packing it to bring it to the motherland, I could have swore we took duct tape and put the little nuts for the screws in a bag and taped it heavily. We can't find it. So I want to put that table up. So I'm going to have to either bring the leg that's attached to the screws that are in it or just get different size nuts in so I can put that table up. That's just a side note. So I have to go and do that this week. Make sure to do that this week because I want that. I need that surface. My work table is full. The other table is full. If I get that table, and still our construction is not, the icing is not on the cake yet. So we're not doing anything permanent. We're just keeping the bare minimum. So we're here, and we're taking it from here, icing the cake while we're in the cake, so to say. But I need that table. I'm looking at it right now. The table I used to use in my old studio back in Orlando when I had the black walls with the yellow stripes, but you never saw the size of the table. And it had the two inserts out with them in. That's a huge table. So there's a struggle right now. Mr. Scurv is like, well, I think I might want to use it up here. And I'm like, well, I might want to use it back in my studio. So I don't negate her when she, yeah, okay, you can if you will, but I got my fingers crossed. Back to the topic. Those same women who made fun of you, those same women who treated you funny. I'm talking about the Caucasian woman who treated you, black sister, in a funny way, whatever size you were. See, they realize that you have something that they could never have. Not only just the physical beauty, but the intangibles that they just can't put a hand on or a finger on because they don't have the radar. They don't have the sensory perception to know what that it factor is. And so when we alter ourselves and change our hair and get the plastic surgery, that makes them feel more comfortable because even though they are envious of what you have, just the fact that you're altering yourself to look closer to them, which you're not going to consciously say that, and they will never say it, but the standard is there on the wall, the European standard of beauty. Brainwashed from minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades. Bombardment on a subconscious mind where everything that you see. Now they're doing a little better, but even those images are compromised. But then there are instances in fashion shows, top fashion shows, where they will have a blue black sister. And to me, that's a fake olive branch because they'll do that to be able to say, see, we have her beautiful. Yes. And wasn't there one, what's her name in the movie 12 Years a Slave? Or there was another, and she is darkly complected and beautiful. But we need more of that. We need more of that. And just like in my very first YouTube short, I spoke about how the Nigerian models that are black are going to get more work because they brought other models from other countries that didn't look African. So they are banning them. And I caught a lot of flack for saying that. I was happy to hear that. Because we need to take control of our imagery. We need to take control of the narrative of our beauty, not just standards. Because to me, the word standard just doesn't sound right. Let me just take this journey with you. And I know what the word standard means. For the sake of standard definition, just pull it up just so we can understand this word that we're using. Okay, here we go. Standard, a level of quality or attainment. See, I already don't like that. I'm going to explain why. Number two, something used as a measure, norm, or model in comparative evaluation. Used or accepted as normal or average. See, that number one, and this is from the Oxford Languages Dictionary, although it is online, they're telling me where they're getting this from, right? A level of quality or attainment. So when we say the European standard of beauty, they're already jacking it up by putting standard in there. A level of quality. So that's quality. So everything else is not quality. A level of quality or attainment. So the European standard of beauty is something you have to attain? Hell no. Look at our African sisters, our Black African sisters worldwide, melanated sisters. They come out the box like that. Ain't nothing they gotta attain. Nothing that they gotta reach for. You see how they slipped that word in there? Something used as a measure, norm, or model in comparative evaluations. Comparative? So the European woman with no shape and two fake titties and Botox lips and blonde hair, who's done by the time they're 30, they might squeeze out a couple of years, depending on how much secret melanin they have in them preserving them. But other than that, they done. There was a sister that I knew from many years ago, and she went on to be something that I was very proud of. And I'm going to say her name. Let me see if I can even Google her name. And I'm going to tell you why. And she has been all over magazines. She's 80 years old now. Oh my God, she has to be. And this is what it says on the search. Her name is Linda Wood Hoyt. If I can find her, I know that she'll remember me. We weren't close friends, but all I remember is that when I was competing as a bodybuilder, because that's what she was, a natural bodybuilder, right? And she was so much older then. And the fact that she did natural bodybuilding, which is not a requirement to do, but sisters, don't be turned off to this. I want you all, just for the sake of saving time, I'm going to put her name and I'll let you all Google. I'm not getting lazy out here. I'm just going to put it in all caps. Linda Wood. And the Hoyt is spelled in a unique way that you will see. Let me just make sure I'm spelled. Okay, I got it right. Here it is. I'm being lazy today, y'all. Go ahead and Google that name if you can. Remember that name now and in the future. I say she's my friend, but we never talked like that. I'd see her, she'd see, but I know she remembers me. I was a teenager then. She was what? She was way up there in age. Well, what a beautiful body. What a beautiful demeanor. This is that thing that we need to cultivate and focus on more than whatever hair we slap on our head that didn't come from our own DNA pool. We need to focus on those things that will last with us on the physical level, whether you're plus size or full, whatever you are, enhance it naturally. And I could tell you for a fact, this woman has never taken a steroid. And she never looked ugly and muscular ugly. You can see where she had shape. Please, somebody, go and Google that name if you're on a computer and hit images to see the images of Linda Wood Hoyt. I remember they had the Harlem Week celebration. And this was back in, I think it was 83, and I think I was the one at 84, but I know I was at the one at 83. And my brother, Carl Scott, he came on the show many years ago, and he gave me great props when he came on. And I'm going to look for him. We lost contact again. But he was the one who helped to run the Harlem Week celebration every summer. It was a week-long celebration celebrating American African contributions in Africa all over. And so they would have music groups and dance stuff and readings and just all types of cultural stuff that blended us back with the motherland where there was no division that way. Yes, Alkebula man, you see it. You see it. Yes. Tell me, what's repulsive about her? Because I'm going to say it the street way. Linda Wood Hoyt is fine as hell at 80. And a lot of you always say, oh, she's 80. She's a little too old. If she slipped you her phone number. That's what I'm trying to say. With us, age doesn't matter. We don't age. We may look a little altered because we've been here a little longer, right? But look at Dr. Ade, who contacted me last night, and she wants to come on later on. And I said yes. And she will be back on Friday. So that's the heads up, y'all. I didn't make the link, but Dr. Ade will be on later on. We just have to, she has some things to do today, and I got some things to do today, but it's not going to be super late. It's going to be early. And she'll go on for a few hours. I got to type up everything. I got to do the graphics. See, and a lot of y'all, I'm not saying it this way, but y'all don't know, old Scurv puts in the work. Because I could say, oh, let's just do it Sunday. I don't want to do nothing today. No, I want you all to get as much as you can from what she's offering. We're talking about Dr. Ade. Because she's 84 and glowing. And she will make it to 100 easily. I know this, naturally, provided there's not an accident or something unfortunate. But you can see the glow on that woman's face. And I'm just so glad to be the one to help to put her out there, because she deserves to be out there. But I'm at the end of the day, when she's out there on the world level, still being interviewed and all over the place, appreciated as she should be, I'll be glad to say yes, she started out here. But I can't take credit for her work. But this is my job. So this is why I put in the work, so it can be something that I feel gratitude toward, that our Creator allowed her to come through these doors. But she's going to fly, and her best days are ahead of her. Exactly. She is beautiful. Yes, Linda Wood Hoyt. Let me put the name up for those who may not be on the computer, and they can see. I know her personally. I don't know her like to know her, to call or whatever, but in bodybuilding, and I didn't finish the story, Carl Scott, I got to find him and get him on the show so he can talk about these days. Because, again, I've been, and people don't like the word blessed, but I'm just going to say it doesn't mean be less and all that. You're playing around with words. You know, I'm a powerful force as I'm connected to the Creator, and I'm not saying it in a narcissistic way. Ain't no less with me. Hell, you got some fools out here who are alcoholics, is smoking all day, doing nothing, hating on people, and trying to instruct you on wordplay. Oh, no, you cannot say in the weak, you must say in the strong. But you live in a nondescript life, and you got these jokers out here who want to bend words up and try to feel superior over you. The hell out of my face. Show me your actions. Show me your resume. We got so many mixed up things we got to talk about that go on with our people. But Linda Wood Hoyt, yes, she was into competitive bodybuilding. When I was into competitive bodybuilding, we did a lot of exhibitions. I'm not saying together, but we were there together with other people, other males, other females. And there are other people that I know that are my same age that are still in it and training people and doing things online. My brother, Gene LaGuerre, who, with that one picture of me when I was standing doing a side chest, or almost doing a side chest, he sent me that picture. He beat me that day. Now, it's something between me and him. He's like, Lance, you know, I kind of think you had me that day. And there it is right there. Let me see if I can pull it up. There it is right there. Yeah. He was the one on the podium in the middle, and I took second place that day. Of course, I didn't have time to get a haircut, as you can see. Overslept. But yeah, My history goes back with so many different areas in life, and just to meet different people that went on to do great things. Me, myself, maybe I'm an underachiever. I don't care. But my job is to serve right now at the age of 60 and talk about these things from experience. And I'm not clout chasing. I know who I am and I know what I've done. And those who are in the know, they know. And there's so many stories and things that I've been afforded. And I realize now what my life mission is. So with Carl Scott, we would do these exhibitions during Harlem Week. We did one in front of City Hall. We did one on 135th Street, right in front of the precinct. We did them in different schools. I had other people who would set up different things, and we would give seminars in schools, high schools, on the proper way to train and the proper way to eat. And we got down. We had fun. There's a lot of pictures floating around out there. We didn't have Facebook in that day, so I cannot prove by the naysayers, man, you just talking, because people say, we have men that, man, I used to lift weights too, man. I was benching 800. Get the hell out of here. I never went for weight anyway, right? But so many of us are so quick to tear each other down when we have experience with this. I'm going to take this name down, but look at the name again, Linda Wood Hoyt. Write it down if you're not near a computer and go back. And I say computer, you can do it on your phone, but you're on the show now. So write it down for a later time. And just check out what she's all about. Ebony Magazine, TV shows, all this different stuff on how she preserved herself naturally. So if you're a full woman, why not preserve yourself as you are? And understand it's the natural glow that you have, the natural essence that you have. It's not physical. And if you focus on just the physical, you lose something. I mean, look at Lil' Kim. Dr. Umar Johnson mentioned it the other day, so I'm not copying him because I can speak about a lot of our sisters, but he brought it up and I said, I need to mention that, but I'm giving him credit for saying it, although I've said it before. We've all said it before. Lil' Kim the rapper. What was wrong with her when she was or pre-plastic surgery? She was sexy and beautiful as she was. Now she turned herself into a fat Chinese lady. I'm not putting it down, but what is that? It's scary. If I didn't even know what she looked like before, and I see this woman come to me and her face can't move, I mean, I love her and I understand what makes some of our sisters go that way. I understand it, and it hurts me. I don't really want to ridicule. I just say a joke every now and then, but deep down, I know what it is that makes many of our sisters alter themselves that way. And it hurts me to see that. To see that this thing is self-perpetuating and alive and well in 2023 and beyond. And it's going to get worse before it gets better. This is why we have to have these conversations. We have to. It can't go any other way. Yeah, Linda Wood Hoyt. I remember, and I spoke about it before, I think this was back in either 83 or 84. I think it was 83. Maybe it was 84. In front of City Hall in Manhattan. And the 2 Tons of Fun was singing this song. It was a stage, a makeshift stage in front of City Hall. Shut me up if you already heard the story. But Carl Scott had arranged for me and several of the bodybuilders to show up because it was Raining Men. Now, I'm not saying I was in the video now. I'm saying that one performance that they did for charity and for free around lunchtime in front of City Hall. So if you know that area, City Hall Park right there. And at that time, maybe 2 blocks away, short blocks away, the World Trade Center, the Twin Towers, they were standing, towering over. And so we had to come out and flex our muscles and do our posing routines while they were around singing. And we got a chance to meet them. But all I could remember on that stage that day was how hot it was because the sun was burning. And it was August of 83. And I had my bare foot on that wooden stage. And I was, oh God, it was hurting so bad, but I just couldn't run back. And they were singing the song, It's Raining Men and all of that stuff. And we met Ready for the World, another group, and Strafe, Set It Off on the Left, y'all. And just different celebrities were there. And it was nice. That's New York for you. That's Manhattan for you. There, I mean, Hollywood or Atlanta. It's different now, but really back in those days, there were things going on all over the country. But back then, New York was the sugar honey iced tea. It still is to a degree, but the internet and the culture of us, even if it's hijacked, even if it's watered down, the connections that we have, it goes across the world. And you best believe what we do in America is viewed out here in the motherland, and there's a lot of influence. And I have to say that a lot of the influences coming from America are not good. And this is off topic. And I'm going to wrap this down soon. I don't ever want to keep it too long. I want you to be happy when you see the live go up. And that's why every day I'll keep it like that. And yesterday I had stuff to do, so I didn't do the thing in the morning. And I promised something last night, but I realized I had so much catching up to do on the back end of the website and the podcast and transferring files and resizing and all the stuff. I was like, my family will understand, but I promise I'm going to get up and talk about something good, and here we are. But the influence worldwide on that superficial, altered, basically causing our young sisters and brothers to not be who they are. And this is part of the overall attack on nature from those demonic forces from the shadows that pull the strings over these industries to influence us against each other. It's not just this topic I'm talking about. This is part of the bigger scheme of things. While everybody else, and look, we got some good brothers and sisters out here bringing some information that I learned from. I would never verbally plagiarize them or try to take it as my own, like so many do. I always give credit where credit is due, but I have to say I've been here for 60 years and on this planet and tasted a little bit of everything that's out here except drugs or crime or homosexuality. But women, I love my sisters. It's not even just a sex thing. They're the superstars to me. They're the bringers of life. They're the bringers of true love. And yes, some may have gone through so much bad stuff and might be acting out other than who they are. I'm not going to demonize them, but I will correct the ones that need correction, and it's done out of love. Look throughout my history if you truly know me. Ask anybody who knows me, who I've been married to, who I've dated, who I've loved, who's broken my heart. And I don't hold that against them. I still love them. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Yes. I'm going to talk about this in different ways, from different angles, but I wanted to speak about this topic because it's very necessary. Be who you are and understand that you're beautiful as you are. And it's not the physical dimensions, it's really the essence of who you are. From all of our sisters, from lighter to darker, from skinny to full size, and even more. This world has come against you in a way, especially psychological today, but physically also. What we've gone through, the torture we've gone through, what has been put on us, which has molded us and our psyches through fear of what we've been through. We got to really identify these things and rewire ourselves. We have a job to do on ourselves, which is going to affect the world around us and the generations to come. Certain things we got to stop. Certain things that we accept, and I'll use an example that we do that we think is innocent. You know, that old grandmother we love, who may have been indoctrinated with that self-hate, will see two of her grandchildren, whatever the complexion, but one has a highly textured, happily nappy hair. And I'm not saying it derogatory. Some will want to distance themselves from that, but I'm not saying it in a vindictive way. And the other child may have hair that leans toward being straighter. And although we love old grandma and we know better, and even our children know better, that we taught them, Grandma say, baby, you don't have that good hair like your sister have it. You got that nappy hair. We're going to have to work on that a little more. Do you know what that does to the mind of a young girl? And maybe she didn't mean anything by it, because that's part of her upbringing in America from decades before. Because a lot was done to our mind. So it's up to us to undo it so it doesn't exist anymore. It's up to us to do this. We have to do the cleanup work. Because just like when you buy a brand new vehicle and they say, well, you want to pick it up now, but pick it up tomorrow early. And you say, oh man, I'm paying for this thing. I want my car now. They say, well, we have it out in the back and it needs to be prepped. It's been sitting out there. You bought a car that's brand new, that's been sitting on the lot for 6 weeks. We have to clean it up, detail it, armor all the tires and the dashboard and do this and make sure the fluid levels are right and everything. Boom. So that's what we got to do. You're a prime woman already. We have to go under the hood of our minds and rewire ourselves to realize who and what we are. And the same with the brothers, because I'm going to come with a show for them too. Sometime this week, probably, or it's coming up in the next few days. It just hits me. I might be out in the backyard. Something just, pow, talk about this. Okay. It came to me, this one last night in a conversation that I was having. And I said, I have to do this. See, it's a beautiful thing when we come back to who we are and appreciate who we are. Others have to go and change themselves to be who we are. Why in the hell are we doing something like this to ourselves? It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I have to prepare for Dr. Ade to come on. The time, I'll drop it in the community section of the YouTube page. I'll put it on the website. I'll put it on everything, Instagram, Facebook, this and that and whatever. I'm on a couple of new platforms. I just have to learn how to work it. And you'll be able to follow me there once I do. And it's a beautiful thing. And I'm looking forward to seeing you all there later on when I come up with the date. And I'm looking forward to that lecture that she's giving tonight. Thank you for being here. Much love to you all. Do like, do share, do subscribe, all that good stuff. And shoot this over to somebody who may need to hear this, right? I don't know everything, but I'm going to give you my perspective and opinion on what I do know, and hopefully it can make a change in somebody's life. And if we all do that with everybody in our path, we can make the world a better place for our children, our offspring, and those around who will be here after us. And that's the best way to make our presence known. We fight so hard to be stars. We fight so hard to get up on the TV and on the internet and get hits and whatever, but you got to do the work that lasts. Because this stuff here is fleeting. Here today and gone tomorrow. Look at all the so-called stars that we've admired, and they're gone. And nobody mentions them. We don't want that. We want to do something that lasts, part of a legacy. And even still, YouTube videos one day will be a thing of the past. Who knows if a nuke drops on YouTube building where they have all the service and all these videos are wiped out in a second. But how did you affect the people around you? See, they can take away a video, but they can't take away a thought or a motivation. You don't even have to know my name. There was a big head bald guy on a video one day talking about this and talking about that, or whoever it may be. That's how we leave our mark. Not just in analytics and statistics for a video, or how many record sales, or how many views and performances we have or had, or how many people packed out the church, and the pastor can brag about that. That's not where it's at. But how many people can we touch for real to make them think, to make them look within themselves, to make a positive change against this wicked system that has ourselves hating ourselves? On that note, I'm not leaving forever. Hopefully not, right? But Creator willing, I'll be back later with Dr. Day. And I think between chores of what I have to do here, I might record something, because it's an absolute beautiful day out here in West Africa. And I wish you all were here to enjoy it. But that day too is also coming for those who want. Anyway, much love to you all. Salute to my brothers. Much love to my sisters. Lancescurv out. Thanks for being here. Have a wonderful day.
Everything in his path. The whole black world has tasted of the white man's wrath. So, my friend, it's not hard to tell. A white man's heaven is a black man's hell. Before we came to America, we were living in the East. By the Nile River, we were living in luxury, enjoying freedom, justice, and equality. We wore silken robes and slippers of gold. We were the wealthiest and the wisest people, I'm told. Now we are the poorest of the poor. Nobody wants us at their door. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is black man hell. When the white man came to America, he told the Indian, I am your white brother. He said, red man, I'll treat you the best. Yet and still he pushed the Indian further west with his white woman and firewater. Tricks and lies, he stole America. The original owner of this nation is cooped up on a reservation. So, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven, black man hell. He needed someone to work the land. His back was too weak. He needed you, black man, so he commissioned Sir John Hawkins to commit the world's most grievous sin, to take a man who's born to be free and bring him down to slavery, to sell a man as merchandise, on his body put a price. Oh, my friend, it's easy to tell. White man heaven is a black man hell.